A good night's sleep is essential for health. It is essential for having a clear mind, for being happy the next day, for doing well, being successful. Hi, my name is John Immel. I'm the director of the Joyful Belly School of Ayurveda, and this is what I look like. So why care about sleep? As I mentioned, you want to be refreshed and ready for tomorrow. You want to have great health outcomes. Actually, good night's sleep over time prevents early aging, prevents heart attacks even. There are many studies that show that long-term insomnia or long-term lack of sleep greatly influences poor health outcomes. So what are some causes of a poor night's sleep? Well, racing thoughts, waking up to go to the bathroom multiple times a night. I have a 1-month-old, so the cause of poor sleep could be having a 1-month-old in the bedroom who's crying. Depleted electrolytes. This is really common in June when, if you're in the northern hemisphere, in June is when summer is starting and you're starting to sweat and you're not used to drinking a lot of water. So then electrolytes get depleted and that overstimulates your nervous system. Digestive disturbances. Ama in the body. Ama means toxicity in Ayurveda. Where does that toxicity come from? Fermentation in the gut or other sources. So digestive disturbance, stressful events of the day, pain anywhere in your body can all create insomnia. I was having some insomnia when I broke a rib because every time I moved, I could feel the broken rib. All right, so what insomnia generally, constitutional insomnia, not caused by a broken rib, is generally associated with a dry vata constitution in Ayurveda. And I'm going to flip-flop here back and forth between Ayurveda and Chinese medicine for just a minute. The heart houses the mind in Chinese medicine. This is also true for Ayurveda, actually true for Western philosophy as well when you go back to medieval times. The heart is the center of the mind. It's where you point when you say, here I am, right? Not the brain, but the heart. For some reason, we still do that, right? So when fluids are depleted, the heart becomes deficient and beats more rapidly. It's one conjecture for why we might be overstimulated by depletion of fluids. But Chinese medicine gives the term yin deficient heat. Ayurveda would say vata pushing pitta. And in the general rule of thumb is that poor sleep is associated with deficiency. And when living things are deficient, they tend to become overstimulated. Just think of a hungry lion versus a full lion. Full lions lay down in the savannah and go to sleep. Hungry lions get up, they get angry, and they start hunting gazelles. And you don't want to be a gazelle when the lion's hungry. Right? So when your car is deficient of gas, it stops working. When the lion starts to become deficient of food, its whole body becomes stimulated to satisfy that deficiency before it runs out of fuel or juice completely. So the same thing happens in the body, is that as you become more depleted and deficient, your system becomes overstimulated, and then you can no longer contain or ground the mind. And there's a saying in Chinese medicine that the mind begins to wander homeless at night. And that is what insomnia is that the mind is no longer sleeping in its little bed in the heart, to use a metaphor, or to talk about the situation, metaphorically or symbolically. The mind gets out of bed and starts to think and overstimulating the person. So there are a bunch of reasons in addition to this dry vata constitution why a person might sleep poorly, but this is the underlying general situation with insomnia. And then there's a bunch of specifics. Let's get into assessment of the causes of poor sleep. So if you have trouble getting to sleep, or you're waking up in the middle of the night, The first thing that I do whenever this happens, because this does happen to me, I have a Vata Pitta constitution, so I can tend towards insomnia if I'm not careful. And so whenever I have trouble falling asleep or wake up in the middle of the night and can't get back to sleep, I always contemplate, what is waking me up? Is it my heart racing? Is it my mind ruminating? Is it a restless leg? Is it because I have to urinate? Do I have indigestion or bloating or gurgling? Is there some noise outside? Is it the pets, the kids, etc.? Another one, do I feel too exhausted? Here's the paradox. When you get to a certain point of exhaustion, you get overtired. We all know about this. We know about this because of children. Adults can easily see when children are overtired, but they rarely see when they themselves are overtired. So sometimes you're just too exhausted to sleep. As a Vata person, I know that if I start getting too tired, I have trouble falling asleep. I have to keep my life with stress kept in check, and I have to keep my whole system relaxed enough and my doshas pacified enough so that I'm not too exhausted to get to sleep. Or you could be too frustrated. You could be too anxious about something or too irritated to fall asleep. In any case, you want to examine why you're not sleeping. What is waking you up? See if you can feel your pulse in any part of your body. Just close your eyes and see, is any part of your body pulsing? In the abdomen, that's a common one. In the chest, in your head, or anywhere else in your body. Is there pain anywhere in your body? Are there any other physical sensations accompanying the nighttime restlessness? Sometimes if you have poor circulation in your legs will get hot. And that's what happens often in restless leg syndrome. So the location and nature of these physical sensations will tell you which organs are disturbing your slumber. Then you can ask your client or yourself about the proper preconditions for sleep. Do you have a regular meal and bedtime schedule and routine? You need to eat meals at the same time each day and go to bed the same time each day in order to establish a biorhythm so that you get tired on time. What are your stress levels? Are you too stressed out? Are you working too hard? Did you get enough exercise? If you don't get enough exercise, your body may not get tired. Do you get cold or hot easily too? Because sometimes it's the wrong temperature that's keeping you awake. Do you often have indigestion, gas, or bloating? I already mentioned that. All right, let's talk about some treatments for poor sleep. Now, this is going to be an odd one. All right, I'm going to start off with an odd one, but it works. It helps. If you really have insomnia, just reach under and pull down your butt cheeks towards your feet a little bit, and that will help bring the contact point of your mattress to your body a little bit higher up. Instead of the contact point of the mattress being the tip of your tailbone, it will move to your upper sacrum. That's a little more relaxing. You can avoid using your eyes if you're having trouble sleeping, and don't get up out of bed and start using your eyes. Don't turn on the light. Don't start looking at a screen. Focus on relaxing your eye muscles. Here I have some cucumbers in the photo to show you relaxing your eye muscles. You can even make tiny relaxing circles with your eyes to relax them. You can focus on the individual muscles around your eyes and see if any of them feel tense. Try to find any other tension in your body and relax that. Could be tension in your mouth, tension in your jaw, tension in your shoulders. Find overstimulated areas of your brain. When you close your eyes, you can feel, something feels a little tense in the back of my head, in the front of my head, top of my head. Find those. Put all your attention on that for just a minute. Go deep into that spot. Find the center point of it, and you'll find that after just a few minutes of focusing, that area of your brain will relax a little bit. Sit on the toilet bowl and try to have a bowel movement. Sometimes it's just you have a stool sitting in the end of your bowels, and that can be overstimulating you. There are other tricks too. Sometimes I will just focus on my lower back, because that just takes you out of the active part of your mind where you're thinking about things. Instead, you're just thinking about your lower body, and that tends to ground your mind a little more. So there are some other little tricks like that too. I'll get up and do some light stretching, because sometimes I just, you need to just refresh the liver and move some blood, and that will help you relax and get to sleep. But light stuff, not any intense kind of stretching. In general, though, I don't leave the bed. I don't watch TV. I don't use the computer. I don't do anything mentally stimulating, unless it's reading philosophy, which I love to do. Sometimes I'm guilty. I admit it. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and read philosophers. But you shouldn't do that. If you have insomnia, it will keep you awake. Don't do anything that strains your eyes in general. And I want to talk for a second about a paradox of trying to fall asleep. And that is when you're sitting there trying to fall asleep, you're like, oh, just fall asleep, just fall asleep, just fall asleep. You end up getting like more anxious about going to sleep, or even angry about not falling asleep. And that makes it worse. That makes it even harder to fall asleep. Your nervous system becomes hypersensitive to stimulation when you start getting bitter, angry, or anxious, or even trying to fall asleep. So I never try to fall asleep. I may do things to fall asleep, but I'm not trying to fall asleep. I'm not occupying my mind about thinking about how to get to sleep, right? Especially if you get angry. If you get angry for not falling asleep, or you get angry at people that are keeping you awake, this doubles the insult to your liver. So because not being able to sleep is already stressful for your liver, but getting angry is also stressful to your liver, and it just makes this situation worse. So don't fall into that trap. Instead, one of the first things I do whenever I can't fall asleep is I'm just very thankful for being awake. Thank you, God, I'm awake right now, right? Or I don't know what your religious belief system is or spiritual life is, but I like to thank God for being awake instead of being resentful for being awake. Now at least if I'm awake, I might as well be happy, right? Then I create loving, tender thoughts for whatever wakes me up, or even just humorous thoughts. Oh, my digestion's acting up again. Laugh a little bit. Be gentle with it. Oh, there's my son, my 1.5-year-old loves to get up in the middle of the night and just check in on mommy and daddy. That's sweet, isn't it? So I could get angry, or I could just enjoy that for a bit. And then I tell him, okay, get back to bed, John. My son named John Jr. John the Third, because I'm a John Jr. All right, so so first thing is, when I can't fall asleep, I am thankful for being awake. And that's really the beginning of a prayer, really. I like to pray when I can't get to sleep. And I notice that when I pray, when I'm awake at night, that I actually need less sleep. And there are many examples of monks who get very, very little sleep. The more that you are in that deeper spiritual state, the less sleep you need. So I think that's extraordinarily helpful for a person who has trouble getting to sleep, because it's very supportive for your mind and for your happiness. Another thing is praying for other people. Now, whenever you're thinking about falling asleep, the fact is you're thinking about yourself. You're focusing on yourself. And focusing on yourself is a great way to not fall asleep, right? But if you start praying for other people, there's nothing that, and I don't mean this in a bad way, I really do, but just our mind loves to think about ourselves, and it gets bored thinking about other people. So if you start praying for other people, your mind's going to want to go to sleep. Now, it shouldn't be that way, right? We should have this like abundance of charity, and we all try, I'm sure. And maybe some have it more than others. But it's just a lot easier for your mind to get to sleep when you're thinking about other people, rather than when you're concerned about your own anxieties and worries. It'll calm you down. I do try to avoid disembodied spiritual practices if trying to fall asleep, right? Like there's things like empty bowl meditation that some people do that's popular in Buddhism, but it's just a disembodied practice. And I think that that is also, in a way, the mind wandering homeless. As I mentioned that metaphor earlier, that you're kind of having an outer body experience then. And what you want to do is get into your body and ground it in order to fall asleep. You can massage your digestive tract, maybe a little bit of applesauce to gently cleanse your liver and digestive tract as well. Or maybe that during the day after, if you're having fallen asleep. I don't know if, I wouldn't necessarily say eat at night. I think that's more like next day thing. But, and I said this before, avoid a lot of activities an hour before sleep, especially those that engage the eyes, such as reading or watching TV. Oil your skin the next day with Abhyanga. Abhyanga is a self-massage with oil, and that's very supportive after a night of insomnia. Sunbathe for 10 minutes, which helps your liver. You know, when babies are born, if they have jaundice, the doctor says, well, put them out in the sun because it helps stimulate vitamin D production, which helps with jaundice. And so sunbathing for 10 minutes, you'll notice, makes a world of difference if you've had a night of insomnia. Take a nap in the afternoon during kidney time of day, which is 3 to 5 p.m. Touch your toes, then reach for the sky. Do a little stretching after a long night of insomnia. Then some twisting stretching exercises to reset your circulatory system. Eat easy to digest foods the day after a long night of insomnia. You don't want to, if your body's struggling and on low energy through the day, don't eat something that's going to suck more energy out of you, like a difficult to digest food. Include ingredients with beta carotene, such as carrots, because that will help the liver. Have something with cilantro juice or amalaki, which greatly cools the liver. And soothe pranavayu, also known as smooth the liver in Chinese medicine, or course the liver, which is a fancy way of saying release tension with aromatic herbs like cloves, peppermint, or fennel tea. These are nervines and aromatic herbs in general. Just open up blood vessels, soothe tension, relax smooth muscle tissue. You can't control when you fall asleep, but you can control when you go to bed. Establish a good routine time for going to bed. That will help establish stable biorhythms. Get some exercise during the day, but not too much. A little bit of exercise helps you sleep. Too much exercise overstimulates you. And here's some good herb tips for a good night's sleep. Try a 1/4 teaspoon of salt in warm water, or a magnesium supplement before bed. Or rub 5 to 10 drops of bringaraj oil at the top of your head and on the soles of your feet to soothe the mind before going to sleep. Put some socks on if you rub bringaraj oil on your feet, otherwise your sheets are going to get oily. Try a warm glass of milk with an 1/8 teaspoon of nutmeg, a 1/4 teaspoon of ashwagandha, and a 1/4 teaspoon of dashamula to help you get to bed. And if milk is too difficult to digest, try almond milk. And also, in general, ashwagandha, bringaraj oil, and dashamula are great for sleep. This has been a brief talk on how to encourage great sleep, part of our presentations on routine. Next, I'm going to talk about etiology and pathogenesis of a poor routine. Then we'll end with treatment. Thank you so much. Check out the other presentations we have on routine. My name is John Immel. I'm the director of the Joyful Belly School of Ayurveda, and this presentation is for our students in the Ayurveda Health Counselor Professional Certification Program. Take care.